Welcome to this little YouTube video of ours. It's 2014. It's the first one that we're doing for the year, and today we're going to discuss guest blogging for links, which there's been a bit of recent controversy over because of Matt cuts, as usual. So to get the ball rolling, let's talk about guest blogging in general. It's not just a way to gain links, it's also a way to raise awareness of your brand or yourself as an established writer. It's a great way to communicate with related sites' audiences to promote yourself, and it can also be leveraged to build links as a kind of bonus, so you can give your site votes, as it were. Well, it can help to improve its ranking in the way that link building can, but it is also a great promotional tool. So there's been recent controversy lately because of Matt Cutts and his blog article, which, what was it titled again? It was
Stick a Fork in It?
Stick a Fork in It, yeah. So he stated stick a fork in it because guest blogging is done. And I think Hayley had quite a few interesting insights into that on our blog, if you've been on there. And yeah, I think we're just going to have a bit of an open discussion today regarding guest blogging for links and what our general perspective is on it and what we reckon the best practices should be if you are going to use that technique for link building. Well, personally, being both a blog owner and a guest blogger myself, I'd have to say that there is a bit of an issue at the moment with people writing low quality articles for quick links, which is not of any use to anyone, which is probably the problem that Matt Cutts was aiming to address. Now, when I personally write a guest post for someone, I don't go in there with the intention of I'm going to build a link. I go in with the intention of I need to add value to that blog, because without that, the whole quality of the article is pants, it's of use to no one, and I think Google can quite easily identify the difference between a quality article and one that is not. So for me, guest blogging is a way for me to write quality articles that contribute something to the audiences of related blogs, not just as a way to gain a link, but also as a way to raise awareness of my own area of writing, my own area of expertise, and my own site's general content. For you, Hayley, how do you see it as a practice? What kind of goal do you go in with whenever you go guest blogging?
I like, first of all, to look for, if you're going to write a guest blog, then the site that you're writing for needs to be relevant to your industry, because there'd be no point writing on a fitness blog about SEO or anything, that's completely irrelevant. So that's the first thing. The second thing would be, I'll then have a look at the site and make sure that that site is a valuable site that's going to bring valuable visitors back to our site as well. So, for instance, if you were a small local garage and you had a blog and you were going to guest post for somebody like Auto Trader or someone, for instance, then that would be a good way of guest blogging. Obviously, Auto Trader is an authority in what they do. It's relevant to a garage. So
yeah, that is a good point. There's no point writing for something that's completely irrelevant, because it doesn't look natural at the end of the day. If you you said, SEO writing for a garage blog, for example, it's unrelated fields.
I think another good thing to do would be to, if you're unsure about the quality of the blog that you're going to be guest posting on, is just go through and have a look at other articles they've posted. Do they seem to be posting a lot of guest articles? That's a bad sign. Do they seem to be posting articles that are linking out with really keyword heavy anchor text? That's another bad sign.
I think other bad signs, for example, I look out for if they don't have any kind of social media followers or any subscribers.
Yeah.
It's a good way to just jump in there. You can look on places like Feedburner to actually look up a particular blog, and that would generally tell you the number of subscribers to a particular blog, just so you can ascertain, as Randal was saying, the popularity of those posts. And there are various tools which you can search for that will tell you the same kind of thing. Yeah. It's just generally a feel-good factor, isn't it, really?
Yeah, you can always spot if a blog has just been set up for the purpose of generating guest post articles, build links, and based on the quality of the content, for example. If they're all kind of 300 words, broken English that doesn't make any sense, you get the feel that, and then of course an exact match anchor text link that will be completely irrelevant to whatever the site's talking about. That's kind of a signal to stay away. You wouldn't really even bother like contacting the site owner? Because you've been approached before, haven't you, Leigh, with you wrote for Smashing magazine, is it?
Yeah, and that's one of those things where the majority of articles that are written on there are from guest authors or authors that are invited to write for them once they've established some kind of expertise in that field, rather than just unleash it to anybody. Just submit content that could be potentially inaccurate,
that's
and
another,
damaging.
Yeah, that's another thing. Stay away from sites that are user-generated content. That's too easy to just sign up and have your content there, because it might look fine when you look at it, but who's to say the next person that comes along won't take advantage of the site and spam the hell out of it. So.
Yeah.
As an outsider looking into Cuts' comment, is that it's the same thing as what's happened over the years. There are tactics that have been abused, and rightly or wrongly, now it's deemed to be not such a great thing to do. But when you compare the actual process of what's going on with guest blogging, it's almost exactly the same as how newspapers have worked for hundreds of years.
Yeah.
They have in-house journalists that write content, and they have guest publishers that are invited in for features and so on and so forth. It's exactly the same thing. The difference being that maybe a newspaper has kind of standards or procedures in place to
curate their
govern
content.
exactly, and if there are blogs that are doing exactly the same thing, then it shouldn't, by the virtue of somebody guest blogging, that shouldn't be a bad thing if it's done, as you say, on a good blog, and they are experts within their field. That's only surely enriching the content on the blog. Just taking it, putting it into context here, I think it's just a bit of a scaremongering phrase, which is kind of tied everybody with the same brush. But generally, if you've got a good quality blog and you're inviting experts in to write for you, then I think it can only enhance the field.
I think that's totally right. And if you do read the article that Matt Cutts published, he had an edit on the end of it, kind of like an added thing after he'd pretty much thrashed the whole link building via guest blogging thing. He then added, well, after he'd said that you should only really kind of
guest blog for people you know.
Yeah, that's it.
Which is ridiculous.
Yeah, that is a ridiculous comment. But he kind of added at the end of it, well, you can guest blog, but just be careful as a site owner who you accept guest articles from. Because the problem ultimately is down to people who have abused the system, like you said, as a way to just get loads of links. But the other half of it is the site owners themselves who are allowing these links to be published. And I know I said that some people have just set up blogs with the sole aim to build guest posts for link building, but you can easily identify those blogs and just stay away from them, because there's no value in them whatsoever if that site then gets penalised and you've written an article for them. So, for example, with that Smashing Mag article that you did, how long roughly did it take you to create that? I mean, to give people an idea of how much work should go into an article.
Well, with research and writing first drafts and edits and so on, probably a week. It wasn't a 5-minute thing.
No.
And then it's sent to review as well. There's a panel of experts that would review that article, so they can give their impartial opinion on various aspects of the article, such as style, content, how useful would it be to beginners, intermediates, advanced, how accurate is there any kind of could it do with any kind of enhancing in any way, shape or form? And I think those experts as well are built up over time. You build up a pool of these experts who you can rely on, so it's not just you. You may get guest bloggers that are writing on subjects that we may not necessarily be expert in. So then to put all your faith in someone is a very dicey thing to do. So if you build up a panel of experts that can validate that content for you, then it's a good
Just
thing.
on that topic actually, did they ask you to validate your sources if you referenced anything within the article?
I believe they do, yeah. I think that's a standard thing, obviously, whenever you're writing anything, much the same as you do in any kind of white paper, university paper, any kind of reference is to be
Statement
cited.
of fact.
Yeah, and exactly, yeah. Or even any kind of press release, even on behalf of a company, any kind of quotes from a client's customers should be verified and checked that they actually did say what you're stating that they said, or
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just, I think it's just procedures in place.
That's some ideas that will help people understand how a highly valuable blog works when using guest posters. So they're the kind of good quality signs that you should look out for.
As a blog owner, I do get approached quite a lot by people who are looking to write, and You can always tell if somebody is writing just for the purpose of gaining a link and then you'll never hear from them again, or somebody who is clearly not an industry expert in their field. And anyone who kind of admits to you the fact that they've got like this team of writers who can provide something that is unique and quality to your industry and all this kind of stuff, it tells you that that person isn't going to provide as much quality to your actual blog. I mean, I won't say that completely, because sometimes they can actually produce a bit of content that is valuable. So
it's handy to ask for links to other articles that they've already written, just so you can have a look and see what their style of writing is like first before you agree to accept something from them.
So yeah, if you kind of vet those kind of requests that you get in as a blog owner, you'll find that your site may be slightly safer from all the future updates.
I think with the introduction of Google authorship as well, it's kind of made it a bit more transparent. So if someone's using Google Plus and Google authorship, you can just pop on and have a look at their profile and see what kinds of things they're doing on there, what other sites are they linked as contributors to, and things like that.
It's a key point, isn't it? The author, ultimately.
The author,
I mean, that the author itself gives you faith in what they're writing, if that author establishes credibility.
That actually takes me on to a point that I did want to raise, which is there's a theory that SEOs are currently discussing on authorship and whether Google will release some sort of algorithm that can crawl your authorship and see if you're publishing on just PR5 sites, for example, which are high quality, high authority sites and with no range, or if you're publishing to possibly even a range of different topic areas that have no special niche, much broader topic area than your own special expertise.
Publishing on university sites, .acs, .edus, or maybe say certain sort of type of domains or certain countries or demographic.
And I'll be honest, it's something that I've been curious of for quite a while as well. Since authorship first came out, people are like, it can help improve the ranking of your article because it shows it's more trustworthy in the eyes of Google, so it should do better. But then I started thinking, well, hang on, if I'm writing for all these different industries, then it looks like I am an SEO or I am a marketer. So the point I wanted to raise was if you are doing it on behalf of someone, then I'd recommend doing what PR agencies initially did, which is ghostwrite on behalf of a person from that company. And any kind of blogging opportunities that come off of that, link them to that person's authorship profile on Google+. Because not only does it give the person that you're writing on behalf of some authority, even if they didn't write it themselves, realistically, like a PR agency, they should read the article before it goes out or something along those lines to make sure that you're not making some false statement on their behalf. But it builds up their authorship. It doesn't look spammy. It looks a lot more trustworthy, doesn't it? If you've got somebody,
the CEO of a company writing rather than so on behalf of.
Yeah, well, that's exactly it. So that's kind of my view on how authorship should be used with guest blogging and kind of the way forward, I think, to avoid any of this Google potential authorship algorithm release.
Well, as you were saying earlier, like the diversity of subjects of what people are writing on their Google+. There's also, say there's like one specific subject, but they'll have 10 articles that are pretty much exactly the same thing on different blogs, and they're just reworded, like perfectly reworded with the exact same subject. And I think once authorship becomes more of a thing, then Google will also be able to pick up on the articles you've written and compare them with each other. And if some are too similar, it might be manually reviewed or,
So you're not really adding anything new to the internet by rewriting the same article 10 times.
Yeah.
That's a perfect example of writing for links.
Yeah,
That
exactly.
is, known as article spinning, which is something that they've always said, don't do it. I think back in 2012, I think you did a video, didn't they, saying don't spin content because they'll know.
I would just say to follow the practices of the publishing industry as a whole rather than just the web publishing industry.
Yeah.
But because publishing has been established for obviously hundreds of years, they do a good job in general with newspapers and academic journals and so on and so forth. So adhere to those principles and those standards on the web, you won't go far wrong.
Yeah, obviously the slight difference being the whole link thing, getting links back to the site.
But that can only be in the way of citation, offline, really. Whether it's in a bibliography or you're citing, and really it's just the same as a link. You're just referencing someone somewhere else.
Yeah.
I think if that's done in a sensible way, then why not? Why not reference somebody else if it's useful and if it's to show that, you know, the content that or the argument that you've put across, this is the rationale behind it, or the evidence behind it, or what's helped you come to that conclusion, you know, and you've provided a resource. That's a great link.
Pretty good way to sum it up, I think. Well, that is it for our discussion on guest blogging for links. If you'd like to check out more of our content, have a look through our YouTube channel, and also check out our blog, which is silkstream.net/blog, where you'll get some interesting articles from all of us guys related to marketing, web design, and all sorts of other things that you may be interested in. So don't forget to subscribe, like the video, share it, tell your friends about us, and we'll see you next time. That's it.